Hello guys, Cal back again on my Minecraft Survival Let's Play series, and welcome to Infdev 2010-06-30. Now, these titles for the updates kind of get confusing because they're by date instead of, how they do it today, which is release 1.0, release 1.1, etc., etc. So it is kind of confusing to keep track, but last update, the very first update we played in this series was Infdev 2010-06-18. So this one, the one we're on now, was released a few weeks after the previous update we played. So I'm very excited to upgrade to this one. We have a lot of cool things that were added in this version. So obviously, we skipped a few updates in between the first version we played and the version of Infdev we're on now. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the patch notes of everything that was added in between. So first off, in 2010-06-24, they added rideable minecarts. So, previously they added minecarts in 2010-06-18. However, they weren't rideable. It was just like storage minecarts that you could store stuff in. They pretty much acted like how minecarts with chests act nowadays. Now, if we go ahead and craft it in here, you can see the icon for the minecart now resembles what it looks like today. And if we place it down, we now have a regular minecart. Now, I know you guys are thinking, but this looks like a minecart with a chest. Yes, you even see the chest inside. The texture of this is very, very weird. I'm not sure why it's like this. But since all this happened in a short period of time, I'm thinking maybe Notch was testing out what he kind of wanted to do with it. That's all I can think of. And you see, if we right click it now, we can no longer enter it, the inventory of it. Instead, we ride in it. And it's less riding in it and more riding on top of it, because you can see if we go into F5 mode, you can see we're just sitting on top of it instead of actually sitting in it. So there's no sitting animation. You're kind of just standing on top of the chest and whatnot. And unlike last update, you can very easily break it now instead of like how it was before. So now you see if I push this and ride on top of it, we're now riding like that. So that's working and that looks wonderful. Another thing that was added was the lagometer. So you see if I press and hold F6, the lagometer shows up in the bottom left corner there. Another thing that was changed has to do with wool. So you can see sheep, they still have the white color. Now, if you remember in the previous version we were playing, when we punched the sheep, the color of the wool that they dropped would be like this light grayish color. So it wouldn't be white and it didn't really match what it was trying to show. Now, the only color of wool in this game is now white. So they changed that, and there's no way to legitimately obtain any different kinds of color of wool in these versions of Minecraft now, until they obviously add them back in the future. Now, on the next update, which is 2010-06-25 Tac 2, yes, there were two updates released on that day. But in the second one, Notch added dungeons to the game. So dungeons, as we all know, house mob spawners. So mob spawners were also added in its version. And you have three different types. You have your zombie spawners, you have your skeleton spawners, and you have your spider spawners. And they kind of work the same, where they spawn it and everything. So nothing's really too different there. On top of that, saddles were also added, so you can find those in dungeons, meaning you can, yes, put them on pigs, meaning, yes, you can also ride pigs. So that's cool. That's something that's interesting. And farlands are also in the game. Now, technically, farlands were in before this, but they worked a little bit differently. Now the farlands that we know from here to beta 1.7.3 is now in the game. So if we went like 30 million blocks in whatever that direction, I guess, we would end up seeing the farlands. So in Infdev 2010-06-27, passive mob spawning was drastically reduced. From what I've been noticing from just walking around the world a little bit and just seeing if I see any difference, they definitely do noticeably spawn in smaller packs. I do feel like they spawn quite frequently, just in general, but I feel like in terms of how many spawned in one pack, it's definitely been reduced. Because before I used to get like 20 sheep just spawning at once, or 20 pigs spawning at once, and it used to lag the game sometimes. So I do think it has been changed a little bit. Also, although it doesn't mention it, we're going to see if there's also been any change in terms of hostile mob spawning. because as we know on the other updates, we really weren't getting many mob spawns underground or any real spawns on ground either. So we'll see if that changed. And as you can notice in front of me, we have stairs now. So in Infdev 2010-06-29, they added cobblestone stairs and oak stairs. As you can see, the hitbox looks a little bit different than how it looks, in today's Minecraft. But you can see they virtually pretty much look the same. Now, the only thing to take note here is that they do not break quicker with the tool. So you see I broke that with the axe, and it breaks at pretty much the same speed here. And same thing with the cobblestone stairs, except you won't get any cobblestone back unless you break it with a pickaxe. Now, something to note here, it still takes the 6 blocks to craft it to get 4 pieces. And you can see that the icon here is very different. It just shows the full texture cobblestone instead of having a unique cobblestone stair texture. And although it takes 6 cobblestone to make, you see if I break it, I don't get the stair back. Instead, I just get 1 piece of cobblestone back. Another thing to note about these is you can see if I place them, if I place a stair on the ground like that, it comes out like a stair. Now, if I place it when it's already underneath the block, you can see it turns to a cobblestone. And it even happens if I place a stair down and then put a block on top of it. So you can see I have a stair right there. And if I put a block on top, it turns to a full cobblestone block. So that's pretty buggy. So you can't really place anything above stairs, which is going to might be a design hassle in the future, but we'll see what happens. On top of that, another thing I'm sure you noticed is that it doesn't really adapt to how you place it. So you see if I place it that way, it doesn't place it down facing me. It just faces there. So that's pretty confusing, but you see if I place it like that, it'll turn back to back. So placing stairs in these updates it's going to be pretty difficult to place it how I want it just because of how it does it. So we'll have to see how that works. And finally, the version we're on now, which is Infdev 2010-06-30. This one really didn't change too much. It just fixed a bug where falling into the void would not kill you. That's pretty much the only thing a significant change in this update. And the only reason I chose this update is because this is the last version of Infdev before alpha. Now, there is a reason why I chose this instead of just upgrading straight to alpha, because I'm sure you guys can tell too much hasn't really been added in between updates in the grand scheme of things. But the reason I chose this is because there exists a bug in this version. And this bug allows you to obtain the spawner block in your inventory. So there are only 2 times in Minecraft, as far as I'm aware, where you can collect a spawner in Minecraft Survival legitimately. And it's in this update, and it's in beta 1.9. So in beta 1.9, when they introduced Silk Touch, if you broke a mob spawner, it would end up dropping the actual spawner block and you'd be able to pick it up. And this is the first time in this update, Infdev 2010-06-30. It's been in the game since spawners have been added in Infdev 2010-06-25. But I just chose this version because it's the last version of Infdev. But anyways, if I find a dungeon and I just break the mob spawner, it will drop it as a block and I'll be able to pick it up. Just that simple. And as long as I don't place it down in future updates, I will always be able to have that spawner in my inventory or in the chest that I store it in or whatever. It will never leave there. I already tested it. I already tried upgrading it, and it stayed in my inventory. So this means there is a way to obtain legitimate mob spawners in this game. Now, there are some caveats to it. For one, once I break and pick up the spawner and I place it back down, it's not going to spawn the mobs that it originally spawned. So if I find a skeleton spawner and I break that and I place it back down, it won't spawn a skeleton anymore. Instead, it's going to spawn pigs. So there's something to note there. On top of that, because dungeons were added, we also have golden apples that can spawn in dungeons. So there is currently a crafting recipe for golden apples in the game, as it is right now. You need an apple and you need 8 blocks of gold surrounding the apple in the crafting bench. However, there is no legit way to obtain apples in this version. The only way to obtain apples in these old versions is if the player is called Notch and they end up dying. Once they die, the player will drop an apple. So I could technically do that in this version if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. But the golden apples do spawn in dungeons very, very rarely, so I doubt we're even going to find it. But we're going to attempt to, because we have from now until beta 1.8 to find golden apples before, you know, you can find apples in stronghold chests and stuff like that. So we have a little bit of time before we have to worry about that. So we are going to attempt to find a golden apple. So yeah, guys, this is the last version of Infdev. I really did enjoy my time on the first update. Obviously, we're kind of limited in the stuff we can do, and I can feel it sometimes. There's a lot of blocks and mobs and stuff that I miss. I definitely miss redstone. I can't wait till that gets added. And yeah, but you can see everything pretty much looks the same. The terrain hasn't changed, and even though dungeons were added, you're not going to see that weird terrain transformation that you'll see when the terrain generation changes in future updates. It should be smooth. I shouldn't see anything that lets me know that we're in new terrain. So we are gonna have to go underground and find dungeons. Dungeon will not spawn in existing chunks. We're gonna have to go far out to find chunks that we haven't explored, so we can find dungeons underground. And so we are going to attempt to find one. Not this episode, but we are going to attempt to find one. And when we do, we're probably gonna try to make a nice little mob farm out of it. Mainly, the ones I'm mainly concerned, we're going to find all 3 mob spawners, but the one I'm mainly concerned for is the skeleton spawner and the spider spawner. Those 2 I'm really looking forward to finding. The zombie one, not so much. Since all zombies drop in this version is feathers, and you can't get XP yet, so there's no real need to really find them. But I am pretty excited. I did take down off-screen the spawn tower little legs that I did. I don't know, it just wasn't looking right. So I think we're just going to leave the spawn tower looking basic until future updates where I can add more to it. I think it's going to look fine like this for now. And today I instead wanted to turn my attention to our base here. And as you can see, I kind of changed this thing here. I took away the glass and the water here and replaced it with just wooden planks. And what I want to do is head down there and expand the base outwards. So I want to make it bigger underground than it is above ground. Not all the way up, so I'm not going to do it from all the way to the bottom, all the way up here. Well, I'll go down there and show you guys what we're going to do. Oh, what is this, guys? Are we rocking full iron armor? Yes, you know what? I figured we'd walk around in some for a while. We've been walking around this whole series without armor on, you know, just because of how low the hostile mob spawn, but I'm not sure how it works this update. So before we get, you know, demolished by like a skeleton or a creeper or something, let's offer ourselves up some protection here. Another thing I noticed is I think they added sound for flowing water in this update. I don't know. I didn't really find anything in the changelog, so I'm not really sure. I have to look into that some more. But that definitely wasn't there last update, so. Woo! You guys have no idea how long that took with only using iron tools and without any of the enchantments, potions, beacons, anything. Okay, sheep, you need to die. That took an amazing amount of time, and that's not even including all the caves I had to go through while I was digging down and had to light up and stuff. I'm trying to light up the area around here pretty well, because I'm thinking in the future we'll probably put a mob farm, I don't know, somewhere in the Infdev spawn area. I don't know where. But it took an amazing amount of effort to do this. I forget, like, just how much I appreciated enchantments, fortune, and everything like that. I mean, I started playing before enchantments were even a thing, but like, God, once you have them, it's so hard to go back to not having them. So we still have to do a little bit of cleanup. We have to take down this little structure here and have to build a quicker way up. I've been trying to think of what ways we could use to get up. There's a couple glitches we could take advantage of in these days that could get us up quick and shit. Getting down's easy. We could just throw some water down. I think I'm gonna have a fountain like here or something. We could just throw water down and we drop down into it and we'll be fine. But it's getting up that's going to be like the kind of part we have to figure out, because we don't have soul sand, so we can't do the elevators. Even if we had soul sand, it wouldn't really function how it functions today anyways. But that was an increasing crazy amount of work. I did not expect it to take that long. It really did. But now we got a big wide room for us to work with. And then we can have each path lead off to its different mining section. And we're gonna have different sections here too, like in these corners probably. We're gonna have like sections where things happen and we put things in. And I want to make this area really look nice. Like I said, we have a limited block selection. Obviously, there's pretty much only 4 blocks you can really work with in this game at this current moment that work for building stuff, I guess. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for this episode. I really had to grind hard to get this stuff down. It took a lot out of me, but I do enjoy it, and we have a lot of plans for in here. We're not even close to being finished. Oh, that scared the crap out of me. You guys don't know how often that's been happening. Just pigs and sheep just falling from up top and just dying down here. It's been hilarious and also frightening, because I'll just be mining peacefully and then I'll hear, and I'll be like, what the crap? They did give me some pork chops, and I also found diamonds. Yeah, there they are. Found 6 diamonds, which is pretty good. So next episode, we're definitely going to focus on finishing off this base. Oh, is the sheep going to fall? Fall down. Oh. Wait. Here he comes. Got him. Oh, another one. Another one. Oh, shoot. I feel like DJ Khaled. Okay, guys. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take care.